Derek, what are your plans now with 3 goaltenders?
Well, I think this was the plan the whole time. Hellberg was actually on our roster and just down on a conditioning stamp. Did what we asked of him, get some games. Went well for him. Now we're game to game with our 3 goalies. So Villy will play on Tuesday versus Carolina, and then we'll go from there. Probably be a post-game decision on what we do on Wednesday. Could be Villy. He looked really good in his last opportunity back-to-back. Obviously, we have the option of 3 guys now, so that'll be a post-game decision on Tuesday.
What did Ben say? I mean, did you talk to anybody on the staff? How do you look?
Of course, I got feedback. I'm constantly in communication with not only Ben and the coaching staff there, but Steve and Sean Horkoff. So, yeah, they said he performed well. And again, I just like that he did what we asked of him. He did not have to agree to the conditioning stint. He did. He went down there and played, I believe, 4 games, and played well. So it's good on him.
We talked about this Thursday, but how tough is it to let goaltender play his way out of when things are kind of...
Yeah, it's tough, but you got to trust practice reps. This day and age of the specialized full-time goaltending coach, got to trust that a little bit. I know statistically it was a tough game for Ned last game out, and I mean you can nitpick on each goal, but he was ready to play that game. His first, before the breakaway goal went in, he was very sharp, and he gave us an opportunity to get through that first period. So in my eyes, that was a step in the right direction.
What's the status of Mata right now? Does he seem like he'll be out for a while, or?
No, it's a good question. He felt a little better yesterday, just a day-to-day illness type thing. Negative on COVID, which is always a positive. And he'll then just wasn't unable to practice today. So I'm guessing it would be a lot to ask of him to play tomorrow. But he's inching closer.
What's your view of Wallman been so far? I know he was the odd man out on the Thursday game, but looks like he's with Hronik today.
Excellent, and competed hard. I wanted to play Wallman that day, but he was unavailable to us. Unfortunately, coach's decision, but he would have been going in that game. He was going to be in our top 4, and basically where he was on Saturday. And he's responded very well. He's taken risk out of his game. He's not having egregious turnovers. He's not getting caught for odd man situations. He's adding some compete. I really like how he played on Saturday. He responded very well for his teammates. I know it's one play, but it just burns in my head. Dallas comes out, and they kind of jumped us that first shift. The home ice team, one of the better home ice teams in the league, and they put us on our heels. And he just had a defensive heavy stop, and he skated the puck 200 feet, got the puck deep, we changed, and from that point on, we were the better team that period. So just plays like that, look for some consistency from him, but been very happy with Wallman.
February looks like he's getting closer. In target date?
I think we're sticking to that January 1 date. I think being cautious with his history of his lower body injuries. But yes, he's inching closer. Only 60 in practice today. Took some D reps, which I thought he did well. But Bob Bugner made it very clear, in no circumstance ever would he play D for us. He kind of burst his bubble when I was picking him up. So, yes, he's full contact. He's getting around. He's inching closer. And obviously, it'd be a nice little spark for us the way he plays the game.
Just especially after no Bertuzzi, no Grana, to have another option out there in your top 6.
Of course, knock on wood, we've had a ton of injuries up front. We went through that stretch. We literally had 6 of our top 9 out. Theoretically, we have 3 of our top 6 out. It's going to be hard on anyone, but we've also been fortunate that we've had a stretch of only having 12 forwards for a while, and we've been able to get through games with those 12 forwards. So, and then with Mata going out and Wallman being a coach's decision. Knock on wood, we really haven't had many injuries or scratches on the D side. So, I look at it, yes, it's very unfortunate to lose that kind of offense with a team that doesn't produce a lot of offense, but big picture, I think we've been very fortunate. But yes, any one of those three guys would be a help for us.
I know you've talked about it a few times too, just the luxury of having a player like Austin Zarnik who's coming off a great road trip. Just talk about that importance and how he's been able to jump in.
Austin's been excellent. Playing with pace, hockey sense, everything we ask of him, our structure, systems, he does. And now he's adding in, making some plays. That line's been very good, and he's been a big part of it. He gives us a right shot. He's available to take a draw or two in that right dot. So he's been excellent, and even probably made the decision of giving Soderblom some time to get his game back in order coming off his long injury.
And then today at practice, working on some 3-on-3 and shootout situations. What exactly are you looking to improve in that overtime?
Well, getting that extra point, it's a great question. It's one of those things you want to work on. You don't get a lot of time to work on, but it's been really frustrating for us because even looking at the underlying numbers 3-on-3, we've out-chanced our opponents in our 3-on-3 time. We've had almost 60% of possession in our 3-on-3 play. We've only given up 7 chances against in our 3-on-3 play, and unfortunately 4 have ended up in the back of their net, and they've all been eerily similar. Just not being able to manage their game, egregious turnovers, and it ended up in the back of our net. So, it's almost an extension of our 5-on-5 play. We've asked guys to manage their game 5-on-5. It's the same thing with our 3-on-3. For me, it's not a structure issue when those underlying numbers are what they are. It's a manage your game issue with these just egregious turnovers that have unfortunately ended up in the back of our net.
Dylan mentioned that overtime as a whole around the league has slowed down. Do you see that too, and does that change the way you approach it?
I think people are learning how to defend it, manage. I mean, look at Dallas. We had the puck the entire overtime. Jamie Benn was out there for 2.5 minutes, but never panicked. He just owned the middle of the ice. He defended, didn't get himself in trouble, finally got a change. And basically the first time they touched the puck, we gave it to him, 2-on-1 back in the net. People are having a smarter approach with their 3-on-3 play. We're no different. We went through a lot of 3-on-3 play. We've only given up 7 chances. So I just think people are learning how to manage it a lot better throughout the league.
Just to follow up on that, when you look at this year, some of the better teams in the league have a lot of overtime losses. That was true last year. I looked it up in the year before. Is there a randomness and a luck factor in overtime that you can't outcoach?
That's a great question. I do think there's a randomness to it a little bit. I think it's a little personnel driven. But I really think this comes down to managing your game. Sometimes those high-end, skilled superstar players, if you will have some risk in their game, and it'll get you in overtime. So it's a great question because we're sent as a staff evaluating our 3-on-3 play. We literally watched every minute back, every underlying number, and it was really frustrating for us because we've done some good things in overtime, but we just couldn't help ourselves in managing our game. I mean, you guys don't rewind everything we do, but you guys know the plays I'm talking about. You can visualize the same 4 or 5 plays that have been just egregious turnovers, or we just couldn't manage our game in the back of our net. So I just think that's part of it, just managing your game.
When you see the -12, -13 that Sherrod and Sider have as a pair, I mean, what do you kind of attribute? I know they take some tough matchups, or is it?
Matchups, yes. And there's some times their game has dipped a little bit. Maybe not as tightly gapped as they will, but I think it's a matchup thing for them, which is and I think Bob has managed it really well. Again, I talked about being very fortunate with being healthy on D this year's. We felt it when Ole went out these last couple games, but Bob's done a good job when those two aren't at the top of their game, even given Mad and Hronik, that top matchup. So, yeah, not alarming to me. I do think, I know some people are considering the plus-minus outdated. There's some truth to that with how much we have with underlying numbers, and their underlying numbers are fine, but I still think there's some truth to the overall plus-minus, which we monitor a little bit, but I'm not too alarmed about that big number.
Derek, going back to that 3-on-3, I mean, if that argument comes up every once in a while, I mean, are some people you think done with it? There'd be nothing wrong with a tie, or
Well, right now,
you still enjoy it? You still want it?
Because
Big shot.
I think we're 1-4 in overtime. We're 1-2 in the shootout. I mean, that's a lot of points we've left out there. But no, I like it. I think it's good for the fans. Maybe we'll get to that point, but I don't. I think it's been great. Maybe it's lost a little of its pow and wow. Because of people just learning how to defend it. But, yeah, I've got no problem with it.
Shootout, too.
Again, not a fan. We're 1-2. But, no, 82 games, I think we're right on spot with how it's playing out.
Talking with Husso today, discussed the importance of mindset as a goalie. As a former college goalie yourself, are you able to tap into that at all when you're coaching him or talking to him at all?
No. When I was playing against Potsdam State and Geneseo State and Oswego State is a lot different than playing against Tampa Bay Lightning, the Florida Panthers. No, but playing the position in college, I feel I'm sensitive position, whether it's how a practice is designed, communicating with them. I do think there is some of that's helped me with those guys, but I don't think my save percentage or goals against in the State University of New York conference back in the day has helped me a ton with what Villy and Neto and some of the guys are going through, but just knowing position, it probably has helped me a little bit.
When was the last time you put the pads on?
That's a great question. I don't know if you guys remember, but when I was in Toledo, I put the pads on for the celebrity game up in Traverse City. And I was Kenny Holland's goalie partner. Kenny Holland played the first period. I didn't realize there was an unwritten rule. You're not allowed to score on Kenny Holland in the first period. I rolled in there at 5-0, and that was Draper, Yuri Fisher. That was go time. So I faced a lot of volume. So that was one. My hips are still having issues from that. And then about 2 years ago, my son, who's an 08 father-son game, I'm a former goalie. All I want to do is backdoor tap-ins and get in the face of all the 9-year-olds, but no goalie showed up, and you can't have a father-son game. So I went in there. I had a goal not going down once the entire time. I couldn't help myself. I had to go down once, and I literally almost felt my hamstring tear. So those are the last 2 times, and I swear to God, it'll be the last time I put the pads on ever again.
So you're not the emergency backup?
I will not be the emergency backup ever, anywhere. Even Beamer's a little bit of a men's league legend around here. He could talk me into maybe some post-men's league locker room, but I will not be putting those pads on ever again.